Hey guys, I'm finally back, finished moving, and got my painting desk all sorted out. Well, almost sorted out. So I thought I'd start off again with another sort of unboxing slash review. This time it's of the painting Buddha. This is the series 1.1 DVDs, and it starts off with a nice little letter, which is quite nice. I haven't actually unboxed this myself. This literally arrived at work this afternoon, so this is all going to be completely new to me as well. So this will be a first reactions as well as an unboxing, I guess. So here we go. So this is the supporter level package, just FYI. So it comes wrapped, actually wrapped, let's get rid of that, in the Painting Buddha t-shirt. Let's put the box down there for the moment. So you can see you've got quite a nice logo. The orange is really quite bright on it. It's good quality cloth as well, it's not too bad. Extra large because I am a fatty. So there we go, one t-shirt. And here's the actual box. So it's quite nice. You can see the subscribers get a shiny one. Quite pleasant. There we go. Oh, that's nice. It's actually a magnetised box, so that's quite nice. Keep everything in it. Haha, chocolate, excellent. I will be eating that fairly swiftly. What else do we have? We have a card with, oh yes, this will be the seal of identification and the box number. So that's not bad. There's the interesting. Magnets. Okay, so one of them is a magnet, and the others are. That one seems appropriate for me. More contrast, yes. And a few buttons, which is always quite. Oh, two more contrasts. They must have known it was going to me. So excellent. What's that one? Revolution. So there we go. So there's the buttons. One of them is the actual Painting Buddha one. Is actually a magnet. All the rest are sort of lapel button type things. Very nice. Right. Not too bad. So here we go. What else have we got? There's a box of some description. A metal tin. This will be the miniatures. It's sealed on either end. Okay, so we'll leave that for a minute. And this will be the actual DVDs. Wow, that's a box and a half, isn't it? Oh, and some stickers. So we've got a pair of stickers. These come extra. I believe these come extra because it's the how to prepare resin miniatures and where we learn to be a better painter. These are little booklets. Quite nice. I won't flick through them because they're probably copyrighted. But yep, I'll have a read of those, and I'll do a proper review of this once I've actually had a chance to sort of read the material and actually look through the DVDs and things like that. So let me just open this up. So that's a very nice box. Lots of lovely pictures on the back of it, and it opens out into the 3 DVDs. So the first 3 are Ben Komet's. Almost undoubtedly pronounced that wrong. So you can see here's what actually happens in them. So you've got the various bits that they do on each side. And then on the other side is the 3 DVDs for Raphael. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. Never been particularly good with foreign names. Garcia Marin, I presume. So there's 6 DVDs all in all, and again you get a little sort of cheat sheet, shows you what they do in each section. So quite handy, and I believe they do the entire thing each. Yeah, it looks like it, because you've got the 2 figures and the base on that side, and again the 2 figures and the base on this side. So it looks like they do actually do the whole set each. It's not a figure each, which is nice. It's very, very nice. So nice little DVD pack. So the moment everyone's been waiting for, let's have a look what the actual miniatures look like. So, fairly thin bit of foam, but more than sufficient given the tight packing. So what have we got? We've got the 2 figures. They're 54mm figures rather than the usual 28, so that's why they're slightly bigger. This is one of the figures. I don't know their names very well. Let's see if we can get this in focus. There we go. So that's him. I think he's the actual shooter, the guy with the gun. Very, very stylized figures. Interesting. Go on, focus, you know you want to. There we go. So very interesting sort of style to the figures. I must admit, they're not really my cup of tea entirely. Not really my style of figure, but they are going to be very, very nice to practice on. And I'm sure they will look excellent once painted up. So that's one. This is the other figure. I think this is the spotter. Completely blank face. I mean, there are very few details. There's a few sort of line markings and things on the edge, so you could paint it as a sort of blacked out visor if you wanted, or something along those lines. She, I believe, is the spotter of the group. The figures themselves look quite nice. Interesting feet. So she's obviously not human. So there's a little bit of, as far as the actual quality of the figures is concerned, their sculpting looks fine. The actual quality, I'm just looking for mould lines now. I can't actually see any. They're very, very shiny. I think, yeah, I'd probably give them a wash just to make sure. But they're quite nice figures. There's a little bit of flashing here and there, but it's almost negligible really. There's a little tiny bit in there. There you go, you can just about see it, but I mean that'll just scrape off really quickly with a knife. But there's no actual mould lines, which is really quite impressive. So that's the 2 actual figures. Then we've got the various sort of weapon sprues. My dog's currently trying to get out the front door. Hopefully not succeeding. There's the sort of data slate that one of them is holding, and that looks like a holster possibly for one of them, and some kind of staff, I presume. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really studied the pictures of them in all honesty. Here we go. So that'll be the sniper rifle for the shooter, with, I believe, his walking cane. He has a sort of walking cane that he uses. Very, very, I mean, considering how thin it is, it's actually quite nice that they've wrapped that in a huge bit of resin, because that means that no matter what happens to the packaging, that's not going to bend, it's not going to go anywhere. And the same with the gun as well. Obviously at some point in time it's just flexed slightly, and that's come off there, but there is no big deal. I'd be more worried if it was completely separate altogether. But again, I'm not seeing any mould lines on this at all, which is really quite impressive. There's just there, I can just pick one up with my thumbnail. You can't actually see it, but it's resin, a slight scrape of the knife and that will come off nicely. So here we go into the base. Let's see what we can see. So the base is actually supposed to be a sort of rooftop type thing. So you have sort of this section which has got sort of a drain in the corner and then just a sort of generic flat surface with a sort of leading around the corner just to waterproof it, and then sort of you've got bullet holes in there, and you've got sort of rock, sort of a bricky type structure, and then this, depending on where you want it to go, is a sort of side of a building, and you can have that in the corner, sort of like that, and then the two models stand either side. But again, there's no, I mean, it's got sort of little bullet holes and things like that marked into it, but there's no specific position you have to put the models on in this, so it's entirely up to you. You can have them whichever way round you want. Just going to see if I can find a picture of it. There we go. So if you look on the back here, they've got a little picture of the whole thing set up, so you can see sort of they stand pretty much wherever you want them to, really. So that's quite good. And there's the sign. So these bits stick to. So these bits stick to the sort of the column section and give you a sign to sort of hang off the side of it. You probably want it that way up, actually. Although I don't know. You might want it that way up so it pokes above their heads, because their heads are going to be. So that's going to be about there. So, and then each of the figures is going to be, give or take, sort of standing that kind of height. So yeah, you probably want to give it enough room that you're not going to end up sort of crowding the base too much. You probably want that to be sort of that way up rather than hanging down. It makes a bit more sense that way around. So there we go. That's pretty much the models. I'll give a more in-depth review once I've had a chance to actually sort of look at it in detail. But there's some nice details on here. You've got sort of cracked plaster and things like that. So you've got sort of little cracking bits going on. It's a nice sort of areas that you can paint up and sort of shadow and highlight. Base is going to need a bit of TLC with some sandpaper, but yeah, nothing major at all wrong with it. And the models are very nicely moulded. Very minor fix-ups to do. Putting them together is going to be interesting. Obviously these are show figures, not actual sort of play figures, so you could probably get away with just gluing the bits in position, but there are sort of tags, but they're kind of blended into the top of the gate, unfortunately, because the hand, I don't know whether you can see that. Yeah, there you go. The hand does actually have a hole in it for sort of positioning something. I mean, there's certainly enough resin that you could go in and actually probably drill in a pin if you wanted to, and actually sort of pin those in position. Obviously that's supposed to go sort of more like that, but I can't get it in there. So yeah, it's you can certainly get a pin in there without any major issues, and that wouldn't be too difficult at all. And again, they seem to have cast it out of two different types of resin. I wonder whether that's so you can differentiate the pieces easier, because one of them's like that. I'll do it on the figures, it's probably easier to tell. So yeah, there you go. You can see one of them is sort of quite a dark, almost sort of brownish grey resin, and the other one's quite a sort of light grey, which is quite interesting. I don't know whether they're different mixers for different styles of modelling or quite what, but It's kind of handy because all her bits are in the same colour and all his bits are in the light grey. So his bits are like that, her bits are like that, so it's nice and easy to actually tell them apart, which is quite handy. But other than that, yeah, quite pleased. I mean, yes, it being resin, it is quite flexible, but the nice thing is because it's being held at both ends and hasn't just been sort of dropped in a box as is, there is, I'll try and line it up for you, absolutely no, you can see straight down there, there's a tiny, oh, I'm putting that curve on there. There's absolutely no warping or anything on that bit, and that's the kind of bit, I mean, that's a good sort of 2/3 of my finger length. That's the kind of bit that you'd expect to have sort of that kind of sort of warping in it when you get it, and you'd need to sort of stick it, use the usual stick it in hot water, but there is absolutely no, that is dead straight, there is absolutely no warping on that whatsoever, and I would attribute that to the fact it's got two anchor points, two strong anchor points, and the fact it's been well packed in a box and everything's nice and flat. So there we go, guys. This is the subscribers or the supporters edition of the Painting Buddha Series 1.1 target identified. Sorry, season 1.1 target identified. Yeah, I'll give more of a review later on when I've had a chance to watch 6 DVDs worth of commentary and painting. I'm not entirely sure exactly when I'm going to get the chance to do that, but we will find out. Does it actually give a length on it? No, it doesn't look like it, unfortunately. That's a... Oh well, I'd love to be able to tell you how long it is. I'll have to look it up online and put it in the description or something like that. But there we go. So, target identified, season 1.1 from Painting Buddha. Cheers guys, and I'll see you later.